Hi, good afternoon. I hope you all finished lunch and you're not very sleepy. I have the unenviable task of dealing with young people, you know. Luckily for me, my nephew and my daughter are not here because I don't know whether I'll be as brave in asking them the questions that I'm going to ask these guys today. So I'm here representing all the parents here. How many parents in retail do we have here? Okay, so I'm going to be asking all the tough questions on your behalf. So I'll just start off with asking all of them to introduce themselves and a short snippet about what you do and what part you play in the business.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Kavin, and I'm the executive director of Maybell. Maybell is a women's wear brand. We have 30 exclusive brand outlets, and we supply to the major multi-brand outlets as well. I'm a second generation entrepreneur, and my responsibility is to drive growth in the business.
A very good afternoon. My name is Mohit Issrani, and I sell shoes for a living. That's how I like to put it. But yeah, so I'm a second generation entrepreneur and come from the family that runs this brand called Koblerr, and I take a lot of pride in it. And so my day-to-day responsibilities would be basically, I would say, firefighting, taking care of everything and anything that comes into my eyesight, with keeping aside all the processes that we have. But yeah, a lot of stuff. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Pratik here. I'm from Nuts and Spices. I work as the digital operations head there. We deal in gourmet food products and we serve you in both your online and offline retail. I'm very excited to be part of the panel with you or everyone else.
Hi, I'm Sharon. I'm the executive director of Histyle India. We have 8 stores together, and I handle operations, marketing, and merchandising as of now. And been in the family business for the last 10 years, and yeah, it's going great. That's all I can say. And I think it can get better. And yeah.
First of all, I would like to thank RAI for this opportunity. So this is AVR Siddhant. So I am the 5th generation director of AVR Swarnamahal group of companies. So we are a 96 legacy company, and we do have a lot of brands. Specifically in jewelry brands, we have AVR Swarnamahal Jewelers. We have a silver lifestyle jewelry brand called Wendy, and we also have a lab-grown diamond brand called Everglow Diamonds. Thank you.
Okay, so this is 5th generation. Huh? First of all, big round of applause for him. Almost 100 years, family-run business, 100 years. It gives hope for all of us. We celebrated LKS's 100 years today, and I think they are 4 years short of 100 years. So inspires hope and inspires hope for our families as well, that we will continue to run our businesses as families. So I'll start with my questions. And upholding family legacy, right? Now, family legacy is, in most cases, it's not a written document, right? In all of your families, it's not a written document. It's about, for us, they say, as parents, children do as you do, they don't do as you say. So you've been watching your parents do all these years, right? And at least in the business, I don't know how many of you have been visiting your father's businesses after school, but I think you've seen how they work, what are their family values, and then you come in, right? You're all probably foreign educated, right? And I have this saying that I constantly tell the youngsters in my family that your father's a rich man, my father was not, right? So you've seen that happen. Most of you are second generation businessmen. So you've seen your father, your parents doing the struggle. How do you balance your fresh ideas and your father's ideas? How do you balance the two and make sense out of it? Who'll take it? Kavin?
I think to answer to the question, sir, I think the balancing acts sometimes very difficult to balance. It's sometimes by force. So I think when e-commerce started, so my dad needed someone who's young who can understand what the e-commerce space is, and he found me because I was working for an internet service provider. So he said, okay, he might have the knowledge, and by force he gave it to me. But on the way, I understood, what he was also expecting from me. I think the core values, like you said, it can be very small things, like Say, for example, the resilience which we built. I think I learnt a lot out of it from his experience, which I took it from mine. And then the fresh ideas which I brought in. Yes, it is difficult for me to, convince him of it. But it also put me in a situation where it affirmated my statements, which I wanted to take it forward. So these are small instances which I had to do in balancing the legacy as well as bringing back fresh ideas.
So to add to that, I would like to take this opportunity to talk about, I still remember the first, few weeks that I joined the business, not so long ago. But I remember, right, it was very easy because, you're supposedly, like we often hear celebrities talk about nepotism, right? So even we are, I would say, products of nepotism, if I may say it in a way, right? With due respect, of course. So I believe that this was something that was given to us, but something that is given shouldn't be taken for granted is what we've understood all our life. So I still remember my dad and uncle, it was one of those days office, and I was like, okay, let me make myself comfortable. The first thing I did was they said, okay, very good, now take your car and go to the store. Because it's very easy to, come and sit here and say you feel like, you have this perspective. But before you say anything, it's very important to understand where we're coming from. To understand the balancing act, the first part was to understand their journey, right? And we come from a family where I still remember, like, our dads and uncles have opened stores and closed stores themselves. Today we sit here with like managers reporting and so many processes and all of that. But how can I really understand the pain of a manager without actually doing that for one day? So I think that really helped me understand, that this is the process, and whatever can add on to the process will come with its own, sweet time. But it's very important to first understand the basics, and that really helped me.
So I'm going to grill you guys in specific instances. You're all giving a lot of general answers, but we'll come to that. Anybody else for that answer?
So when it comes to the AVR family, because we're in this industry for 96 years, so I think when it comes to me, at a young age, so I should actually thank my parents and family. At a very young age, when we're studying at school, or or when we're actually below 10 years or below 15 years, we used to play, or most of the time we used to spend at the store. Not necessarily, we're participating or we're working, but most of the time throughout our childhood days, we used to spend at the store. And, our parents, our grandparents, they used to ask our opinion from a very young age. So this actually, helped as a family within, to continue the legacy. And, when we were at a majority age, like right now I'm 25 and now I'm the director of the company. So it's very easy for us to, participate, share our ideas, understand how, the family business is working. So basically it's a collaboration. And the passion is driving the business. So I think it's both, fresh ideas and values of the family business matters a lot.
Nice. All very safe answers, but we'll come to that. So modernizing traditional practices, right? So I don't know whether all your businesses have traditional practices, right? But if they do, what are the traditional practices that you found difficult to modernize, right? And what are the traditional practices that you've appreciated and imbibed? Give me one instance each if you can, right? So
modernizing these practices these traditional practices requires a lot of thought to it. Like if you want to modernize something which has been going on for a long time, there has been instances why that has been working for them.
Do you want to give us an example as well?
Yeah, so for example, at our back-end office, what we do is, at the end of the day, if you want to make accounts of what happened the whole day, you still write it in a piece of paper, you write it in a book, and we keep it with ourselves. Another option for that is doing it in an Excel sheet. You can type there, you can do it there. But then when you have that book, you know that you've done that. It's still paying to that these are my values there. I know what I've done. This is what has happened through the day. And you can have a look at it whenever you want. Not having everything entirely on data there. You can write, you can have a piece of paper with you. You share it with your team members. If I'm doing it, I share it to my superior there. So there's a flow there which is happening there.
So you're saying that it's, even though an Excel sheet is available for you, you like writing, right?
Not basically liking the process, but then because it's been going on for time, there has been a monotonous work there that, okay, this is happening, you keep on going through it because the team is, now it's not only me who's working there. There are people who are my father's age who are working there too. They are used to that work there. So they want that process to go in a particular workflow so that it becomes easier for them to do their work there later.
And do you have an example of something that you changed, which is a traditional practice?
You're selling a product. Only what we've done is we opened we had our own app now, we launched our own app. You were selling only offline before. But then how we modernized it, we have an app so customers can order from us through our app. They can go to our store, so they have their option on what to do.
Okay. Sharon?
I had a different problem. My dad was an IT, so tech-savvy guy. So our stores are already modernized then. But the only issue that was happening was we had all the technology in, but we were not using it right. So we had the best software, we had the best POS systems back then. But then again, it was, all the billing was done in POS, but then they used to manually start giving data to the accounts team or the merchandising team or the warehouse team. So my major task then when I joined the business was to start understanding the IT, to start understanding how all the systems work. We had all the technology, I had to put it together. And that was a challenge for me considering the fact that people did not want to change. And getting them to change was one of the biggest tasks for me, and it took me a while, but it did happen. Yeah.
It did?
It did happen.
Fantastic. Anybody else?
So yes, like I mentioned, when I came into the business, e-commerce was the first thing which I was opportunity which I was given. So there I had an experience of seeing two different perspectives of people working together. So there is one set of people who are working with my dad for a very long time, especially in the supply chain. And there it's all very manual. The purchase orders or the job orders which are given, it's all very manually still done. So that process, we've been wanting to change to an ERP, and it was very difficult in convincing them. But when I was in e-commerce, there again we were doing it very manually. The orders used to come in physically. They used to go to the warehouse, check the products, and then they went. Then once we started increasing our e-commerce sale, once it started going from, say, 10 orders per day, it went to 150, 200 orders per day. It was very difficult to manage manually. So what we did then, immediately we, got the platforms like Unicommerce and e-retail, where, the entire order processing and warehouse management became very efficient. So taking those 150 orders a day became like just a 2-hour work. So the team was...
Before that, how long was it?
It took a day. So the 10 orders took a day because it was 30,000 pieces, and they have to go search in every rack where the pieces were, and then they took it. So this 150 orders, and we were able to implement the order process management software very quickly because the team was also very young. So this is a team which I built, which should understand, what the technology is. But in the other side, it is still difficult for me to implement ERP because, they are all adapted to a particular manual process. So yes, that is something which we want to change quickly, getting into that, because that's when we have data and this thing. So that is the two different sides which I was able to observe.
So you're saying that practices that you've changed, yes, right? What are the practices that you adopted and internalized that you learned from the elder generation in your business? What is something that they have taught you?
Yes, I think a simple fact of analyzing customer data. So since, again, coming back to e-commerce, you have all the data right in front of you, your customer experience, where they're checking out, all that you have data right in front of you. But then the fact in sales, you need to go physically be there at the store on, say, Saturday and Sunday, which, my dad really says, meeting, interacting the customer face to face is a simple practice, but, there's a lot of insight which I got because of that, sir. So in this day and age where data, you feel you have so much data and you can learn so much out of it, but there's something more than that when you go to the physical store and learn in person with the customer.
So good, your dad is not completely wrong, that means. Okay. Anybody else wants to add to that answer? No, okay, so we'll move on. So see, technology adoption now, there's this whole thing about technology for the sake of technology. Like what Kavin was saying was, or what you were saying, Sharon, was that your dad loved tech. He implemented a lot of tech, but you didn't do anything with that tech. You didn't do what is supposed to be done, correct? Now, that is one set of problems. The other set of problems is traditional retailers here where technology has not been adopted. And, you know, just by the fact that you guys are younger and you've grown up in an environment where tech is all around you, right? How many of you have been able to successfully implement impactful tech in your business and seen a positive result? See, technology for the sake of technology also, I think is a very big threat to businesses because it can also take you down a rabbit hole. SAP implementations and this implementation and that implementation. Then you take your eyes off the ball. And like you rightly said, no, sometimes you just have to go stand in the store, you know, and soft coding happens. So how many of you have successfully adopted technology, and how many of you have adopted technology and successfully implemented it in your business? You'll take it, Siddhant?
So I think when I was actively part in the business, a lot of tech, so the AI revolution started. I think each and every industry was playing a very important role. You know, AI used to play a very important role. So I was wondering what can AI specifically do for jewelry. So during our previous years, just to design a particular product, it used to take 6 to 7 hours, if it is an hand sketch. So now with our own software, with other collaborations like with certain softwares, we can make any design in just few minutes. We just need to give the right description, and the design comes, and we immediately take customer orders from our various branches. So, and at the same time, most of our stores are augmented reality enhanced. So we were the first jewelry brand in India to have an immersive experience. So we launched a collection called Travel Around the World. So we had around 3,000 walk-ins in 3 days. We had a lot of people coming in, and we actually took them across the world in 30 minutes. And inspired by that, we created a collection. And we also have various services where with technology, we made it possible immediately. Like if a customer wanted a customization on their ring, or if they wanted a portrait, they want a symbol on the jewelry, with our world's smallest laser machine, it's been made possible. It's just not black and white, it's with colors as well. So it's with different techniques. So the world is very technology driven, and I think in the jewelry industry space, there's still a lot to come, and I think the journey just started.
So was this your brainchild? Was this your pet project, or was it?
Yes, sir. As soon as I started, because we were losing a lot of time as a traditional business, as a legacy business, we wanted to engage our customers, give them valuable experiences, because the experiences matter. It's just not the product, and time matters a lot. So our customers, they want to come and go very quickly because they have somewhere else to go.
And it's been a successful implementation.
Yes, it's been a successful implementation, and it fits all our store formats. Let it be a mall format, let it be a flagship store, let it be even a pop-up store. It's easily fitted.
And did you face any resistance when you first started it out? How did you convince the elders in your family? You say 5 generations. How many generations are active in the business right now?
2 generations are active.
Just you and your dad?
Yes, just me and my dad.
So how difficult was it, or how easy was it?
So basically, we used to start with the R&D process, where we used to test internally, and we randomly have a focus group where we test with customers the pros and cons. And I think with the experience and the response, that gives the confidence to the previous generation. And every day and every year it becomes bigger.
Okay. Anybody else wants to take a dig at that answer? Other question?
So, as soon as the pandemic got over, people wanted their products to get delivered to them very quickly. They wanted, so we knew that this is happening. We didn't want our customers to go somewhere else. We wanted them to stay with us. What we had done at that point we introduced our own app there. We gave them an option on, you order your products, you get it delivered within 1 hour. Not promising you the same delivery speed, delivery time the other partners, the other people do it. But then we'll give you your products. You will get these products only from our app. You won't get it anywhere else. And the main reason for us to start that was because We didn't want our customers to go somewhere else. We wanted them to stay with us. I've learned this somewhere that your customers should always be your only investors. They should be the people who are investing in your company,
Wow,
not anyone
spoken
else.
Spoken from Sunil only, huh? Zero debt, no investment. I can see that.
So having that in mind, we knew that customers are wanting to get they're wanting to order their products online. They want to get things from their phone. So there is a difference between these generations too.
So what is it that you did? You did
Yeah,
an
so
app.
we introduced our own mobile app. I think it's been almost a year to it. We'll turn a year for a mobile app, I think, in 3 days. So
Okay.
this was something which we started after I joined the business too. So this was something I wanted to work on too, and it was not very difficult for me to convince anyone else in the business because everyone could see that this is where the future is going to.
So you're saying I can't create any trouble between you and your uncle right now?
No, not happening.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'd probably like to. So, how many of you all have ever walked into any footwear store and not gotten your size? With a show of hands, if you all can just like, I'm sure it's something that everyone has faced, right? So, so when I remember in the initial days, I used to stand there and I used to see the sales guys first going, telling the customer we don't have a size available. Then he's calling up other stores and saying, okay, that branch would have it, that branch would have it, and And I realized that okay, there's got to be a better way to do it. And unlike Sharon, I think I wouldn't say we didn't implement tech as early as we would, but we didn't find the need to. Like at that stage, I'm talking about 7-8 years ago. So I realized that there's got to be a better way to do it, right? So what I realized is that it was our POS, as basic as POS. Let's not even complicate tech. If you have a POS that has a basic stock across branch, which is very basic today, right? Any store and every store would have it. But back then it wasn't there. So that's something we did. I mean, when I came in, I realized we needed and I did it. And the next thing I know, the sales guys can at least know where it is. And in like 2 minutes, tell the customer we'll deliver it to your house, you can just build it over here. Right? So that increased our loss of sale opportunity big time. Right? It was a very small thing. But improved the customer service experience a lot and also saved us, a lot of rupees. Yeah, sorry. Was I audible?
Yeah,
Okay.
by and large.
So, yeah, so that really helped us, yeah.
Nice. So that's about the value you added because you brought in technology into the business, right? But was it difficult for you to push things through?
Just a couple of checks had to be signed and a couple of dialogues had to be said. The rest was done.
Okay. Okay.
I just wanted to highlight one more point. See, initially we underestimated technology. I think in the entire board of directors, and one way what I did was to convince the entire family was we actually discovered a lost era through technology, through AI, which was our Kumari Kandam collection. So we actually won a national award for this collection because the entire collection, the entire story was created by AI.
Wow.
There was no human involved in this. So technology can actually take companies to the next level. And just to share you on experiences, so we actually sent our team to Kanyakumari. So there was a historical temple over there, and we just took images. And we had to send a few scuba divers. They had to scuba dive inside the ocean, take images of the ruins. And basically, we uploaded the same thing in AI. And AI gave us a look of Kumari Kandam. So Kumari Kandam basically was a very big continent stretching from South Africa to Australia and current India. So it was said to be, it was a land of Tamil people. That was where Tamil was born. So based on that, we created a collection, and I think year on year, we just launched Kumari Kandam 2.0, and very soon there's going to be a 3.0. So this tech has evolved our business, and has given us immense response. So this again gave the entire management the confidence in tech.
Fantastic. Okay, so see, all of you have inherited strong businesses, correct? With, I don't know whether it's fair to say it, but for the lack of a better word, with highly opinionated older generation who have an opinion on everything, correct? Is that true? Would that be safe to say? Okay. How do you, is there a manner in which you work on resolving differences of opinion at work? Or is it just a silent treatment?
I think we should be a good listener because
Fantastic.
our previous, let it be my father or grandfather, I think if we've grown today, it is because of them. And they have gone through a lot of challenges, which we wouldn't have. So their experiences, their values matter a lot. So we need to be a good listener and then, take in good decisions.
Fantastic. Patience is key. Sharon?
Yeah, I agree to what he just said. It took me a while to understand that. I have to agree to that. But what I've realized is what the first generation has built is a lot of trust, is a lot of resilience, and I don't think we can ever build that. And that is something that we need to look upon. And building core values on that trust and that resilience is important for the organization, and it also helps the organization grow. Being a second generation entrepreneur is just not taking up anything, but it's also need to consider the fact that it has to grow faster and more profitable and more better than ever. So I think resilience and trust is something that's picked up, that I've considered within myself, and I'm learning that from him, and I'm taking it. One of the biggest thing that I need to learn from Dad is negotiations. He loves to negotiate. And
Oh
he
yeah,
knows how
I
to
know
negotiate.
Kiran's negotiation skills. Right?
So that's something I haven't taken upon yet, and I'm trying my best on that. Yeah.
So, I think all this is correct. So, are you saying that the key here is if there is a point of view that where you think you're right, how do you find a middle ground? Where he's saying no and you're saying yes, or you're saying it doesn't happen?
No, I don't think there's a middle ground ever. Either he gives up or I give up. That's the only thing that happens.
So that's the middle ground.
Yeah,
That's what I would consider middle ground.
Yeah.
That sometimes I give in, sometimes you give in. Is it like that, or is it merit based?
No,
is
it's
it how
like-
hard you convince him? How hard you work?
I
Sorry?
don't think they even fall for convincing. There's nothing called convincing here. So it's either like, let me try it. If it fails, I won't ask you again, kind of a perspective. But that's always let me try it. Option keeps coming in a lot, and he also keeps saying, okay, fine, chalo, try. Let's see what's going to happen. Kind of a scenario. But I don't think there's ever a decision that's done without putting in facts. There's always facts from his side. He's going to giving his experience. I'm going to say, listen, that's the past. Let me try it now. So there's always going to be argument. I wouldn't say arguments, but kind of a discussion that's going to happen. And see, he will start giving in once he starts trusting me on it. And that trust is something I need to give him. And that's going to be earned over time. It cannot happen immediately.
So actually, what you're saying is part emotion. What I'm saying here is, how many of you actually prepare a pitch deck with data, saying, listen, these are the changes, like he just told us, that I went up to my father, I wanted to bring an AI into our product. How many of you actually think of your parents or your older generation as your bosses and say, listen, I need to make a pitch deck about why I'm spending this money, where I'm spending this money, and how, when I spend this money, how will I make 10x or 15x or 20x, or what are the goals of spending this money, or what are the goals of making this change? See, all goals of making changes are to make more money. We are agreed upon that, correct? So how do you address that? Do you, see, because you guys are young, you guys are all technology people, right? You all had very good educations, you all probably done MBAs, or you've done those kind of schools, right? So do you actually prepare a pitch deck and you do stuff like that? Does anybody here do that?
I respect what you say, but then when it comes to the small decision making, I can't make pitch deck.
No, I'm talking about the big decisions.
The
not
big
small
decisions, yeah, obviously there's going to be a pitch deck.
There is?
There is going to be a pitch deck. There is going to be discussions. There is going to be yes, there's going to be no's, there's going to be buts. But when it comes to the small decision making, when you are part of the whole leadership team, the small decision makings, either we have to follow the core values or we need to trust him or he has to trust us. So that's the only way that's going to go forward.
Good enough.
So I think I'd like to add to that. So I follow the why, what, how principle, right? So if I want to do anything, why do I want to do it? What do I want to do it for? And how am I going to do it? These things, whether it's a presentation, whether it's just a small documentation, really help. Because see, when there's clarity, there's always people going to listen to you, right? If you're clear about what you want, then they will be able to. But if I'm not clear within myself what I want to do, then no one's going to listen to me, right? And after this is the principle, right? Agree to disagree, right? We have to do that. There's going to be differences in opinions, and that's completely fine, right? And the best part is that in most situations, whether it's my dad and my uncle, they will say, okay, you do it, right? Because either we're going to benefit from it, Or we get to say the dialogue which every parent loves, I told you not to do it, right? So it's a win-win for them in either ways, right? I mean, in a way.
Kavin, you had something to say.
So I want to give an interesting fact, what it just happened recently. So yes, I do agree with my panelists in terms of being clear. Clarity precedes success. So if you're clear on what you want, whether it's your boss or whether it's your father, you are able to convince them. But there's an interesting, recently my sister joined our family business. So it's age gap between 7 years for us.
So you're the older generation now.
Yeah, I'm the older generation. Now there's a new generation that's coming because the 7 years is almost a new generation now. So me and my dad, when we sit down and discuss business, and when my sister is also there, so she comes up with something called sustainability now. So she talks about sustainability, and me and my dad are like, it's not practically not possible to do it in large scale. It's probably niche which you can do. So she keeps in every meeting emphasizing on that. Then we said, no, it's not going to be practically possible. Then she came up with a solution saying, okay, why don't we start with such a small thing? Why don't we avoid papers in the office? Let us go at least digital in that, so that we are able to do. Then me and my dad, looked into it and like, okay, that's a practical solution. We save money also. Why don't we implement that? So there are small things we learn from the previous generation also, and that also is very important.
So your sister has 2 generations of bullying going on right now. Huh?
True. So that's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, nice. Now, how many of you handle marketing in the business? Raise your hands. Do you also handle? Okay, so 4 of you handle marketing business. So the reason I'm asking you is this: there's been a traditional, for example, a style of marketing and the channels of marketing that you do. I'm sure all of you have come in and you made some changes. Now there is a traditional set of marketing that we do for a traditional set of customers. So a newspaper ad, vis-a-vis an Instagram post, vis-a-vis Google display ads, right? So how have you found a balance in the marketing strategy in your organization, right? And how have you moved the needle forward in your brand per se, and the communication, both? Have you changed the brand? Have you made it younger, or how are there different subsets of customers? What have you done in marketing? Some examples that you've done that we can take from here.
So basically, because we have a lot of brands for different age groups, so basically we have a omni-channel approach. So the advertisements from AVR Swarnamahal is everything's in-house. So we don't outsource. So we have various project teams, project heads. So because of that omni-channel approach, we have various strategies depending on what campaign it is and what time period. So we indulge these strategies and they perform better. So it's a omni-channel approach.
Anybody else?
I mean, if I can. So I think with, marketing is very simple. In Hindi, there's a saying, jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai, right? The more you show it, the more it'll sell, right? Now, you just have to know where to show what is essentially the question. So what we do is, we have data like what age group is our average consumer. So in that percentage, in buckets, we just bucket them and we say, okay, so like say below 30, 25, we have these many people, 25 to 50, and post 50, we have these many. And in the percentage, we just want to, spend money on those particular channels. So like someone who's say above 60 would predominantly be the newspaper, advertisement if we would, right? And someone who's between say 30 to 50 would be a mix of, right, paper as well as Instagram as well as Google, because I think they are also pretty much everywhere. And the ones that are below 30 would be predominantly on social media and like your Google ads. So I think that's the thing what we apply, because obviously the budgets are limited. Whatever said and done, you need to make the best value of your money. So I think that's something that's been working fairly decently.
Anybody else? Marketing? You have a take?
Yes, sir. So, since we are into the women's wear segment, so it's a no-brainer that everyone assumes that women are on social media most of the time. So that's the best way to advertise. And that's how even I also personally believed, and then that's how we run. But initially it was more traditional marketing. Then after I took over marketing 4 or 5 years back, I made the entire shift to go to digital, and then we were doing only digital marketing. But in the recent times, what I understood, yes, for e-commerce might be, yes, digital plays a huge significant role. But still we have exclusive brand retail outlets which are more region specific. So for those region specific, you need to do those local area marketing to reach those consumers, which will be more physical marketing. So that's something which I learned when I understood the digital and the traditional marketing per se.
Okay, so I think we're almost out of time. I'm going to give everybody some time for asking questions. I'm going to ask you the last question, slightly controversial, of course. But when do you see yourselves ready individually to take over the business and tell dad to retire? Tell dad or mom to retire? When do you see that happening? One, do you want to see that happen, right? And when do you see that happening? And how successful will you be at sending them away? Huh? We'll start with you, Kavin. I know Venkatesh. I know all your parents, man.
So first, I just want to give a general opinion, sir. Then I'll go personal about it. So this is something which I learned, and I think it might be useful for others as well, which my mentor always taught me. I think leadership is very, very important. A company should have a single leader. But leadership can be two. One, it can be forced upon the people, or it can be earned. So what I've always been taught is when you earn the respect of your people in the organization, it's going to last for a longer time. So earning the respect is taking small responsibility at starting phase, demonstrating your leadership, then slowly getting into going up the ranks will always add a huge value. And once you gain the respect of the people, then the transition is inevitable. So it's not forced upon them. So that's what I personally believe. When I came in, I took up e-commerce as a starting point. Then I was able to demonstrate certain leadership. Then slowly into the entire sales, marketing. So now currently I'm handling sales, marketing and technology. These are three verticals.
And your father handles?
He handles product development and the supply chain part of it.
And the checkbook.
Checkbook, yeah, that's always there. So yeah, so that's there. So probably, now it's time for me also to take up responsibilities from him in the next 5 years is what I'm hoping for. And I hope I'm able to fulfill it and grow as a leader within than just be forced upon them.
Super. Mohit?
So I think, to be very honest with you, I'm very fortunate. I feel that there's nothing that I haven't been able to do, right? Tomorrow, I think the biggest learning that I've gotten is from my mistakes. And I would say that my family would have maybe even lost a couple of crores in stores that I would have said, let's do it, and it may not have worked. But it hasn't come back to, even once has anyone told me, right, okay, you did a wrong decision. You're learning, right? Because you're always learning. So if you'll ask me today, do I want them to try? No, because they're honestly doing the really, some dirty work, which I don't like ever doing, right? Dealing with the officials and stuff here and there. There's lots of things that, we come from a generation where we feel, why should even you do something which is so disturbing. But there's so many things in retail.
So you want to outsource all the dirty jobs to your elders?
Yeah, basically, I don't do the dirty, yeah. So I do the clean work and they're taking care of the rest. I mean, you don't have anything. But in terms of, there's so much stuff. Today with the taxation, audit and all, there's just so many things, right? And if I were to learn all of that, I'd probably become a chartered accountant by profession. I mean, ease of doing business in India is definitely great. But today, if I sit and file my own personal IT, my auditor is asking me so many things and this is a drawing, this, that, and there's so many things. So today, we're fortunate that we get to do the fun part of the business, which is, the 4 Ps I would like to say: product, price, place, and promotion. We're focusing on that. But there's so many things behind the machine.
You want only malai, no doodh, that's all you're
saying,
huh?
In a nutshell, yeah. So I wouldn't want them to. Till the time they're doing it by God's grace, I think it's great. And, we're very fortunate enough. So thank you.
Super.
So basically now I agree with what Kavin said, that leadership has to be earned. You need to earn the trust of the people you're working with. You need to do all the work there. You need to show them that, yes, even I'm part of the company now. I need to work. I am going to work with all of them here. Building trust is very important. And for that, I think you should be ready, always be ready to unlearn what you've already learned. You should not be rigid on only learning. You should unlearn that, and then you must be ready to relearn what their thoughts is, because they've been in the business for more than you. They have different perspectives too. It's not only your parents' generation, your parents or anyone, your uncles, all of them in the business. It's also your employees who have been there in the business for a longer period of time than you. You need to learn from them. So whatever thoughts you have there, you need to remove them. You need to learn from them so that you have a different perspective. You will know what is working. And when you're ready with everything, I think you will be ready to be a leader there. But taking away telling them to retire is not in our hand. I don't think they'll, it's very difficult for us to.
He's sitting there right in front. Okay. Sharon?
Yeah, I agree to Kevin and Pratik here. So with my dad, it's kind of different. So he loves to fly a plane without knowing how to fly. You know, he always does that. And this is what he did to me. So when I joined the business, the first thing he does is gives me a particular objective, and he doesn't teach me how to do it, but then he's like, find a way to do it. And that's how I grew into the business. So by the time I knew what was happening, I was completely handling major portions of the business. And one, I don't think I'll ever need him to retire, because over time, things automatically fall in place. And second, like everyone said here, you need a leader. And things have gone well before because of his leadership. Why should I change it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Very well said.
All I want to say is, like, our go-to-go mantra has always been, we never say I. So in the family, what my dad says is, instead of being one leader, he always tells me that, we need to create many leaders. So together as a company, we can grow furthermore and, go global as well. So that's why we always say we instead of I.
Great session. We've got some very mature kids, I thought there's some controversial statements to come. I thought you guys would say something, but you've been very mature. Fantastic. All your answers have, it's given us hope for all these brands, and great job. Thank you, guys. Any questions from the audience? Quickly, we can take maybe one or two questions. Yeah. No mic there. Somebody speak. One minute, we'll just get a mic to you. Ashmita, can you get a mic to him?
Hi, representing 100-year-old company.
Wow.
My question to 96-year-old company. So we have talked about technology and the wavelength between our parents, your parents. So the wavelength between you and your parents, there will be a employee number one, a rather close circle of your father or grandfathers. How do you take that?
So first of all, thank you for your question, sir. So basically, you said that, definitely, we need each and every employee support. So when I joined business when I was 17 years old, so the employees who were with my grandfather were the ones who trained me. And I had to get their confidence. So stage by stage, now, they're getting confidence in me. So basically, it's more of a unity workspace. We need to respect all kinds of people and, grow together. So that intention to learn when you're joining a business and when you're learning something, open to learn, if with that go-to-go attitude, I think, any legacy company, not just end with 100 years, can go forward to 500 or 1,000 years as well.
Super. Great job. We'll call it. Thank you. Thank you all. So I hope you had a great session. For me, I'm pleasantly surprised at our next generation of leaders. Thank you so much.